Again, the left ignores the situation on the border, and they go full alarmist about global warming. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is the Ben Shapiro Show. Alrighty, we have a lot to get to today, and I'm so happy that you're here with us because it's a joyous time of the year. The time between Thanksgiving and Christmas is
It's a joyous time of the year. It's the Ben Shapiro Show.
We'll get to all of that in just
We'll get to all that in just a moment.
You're gonna go to the post office. You're gonna schlep all that stuff over to the post office.
You're gonna slip all that stuff over to the post office, man. No, you got workers you're gonna use to send over there. The hired help at the U.S. Postal.
Mail using your own computer and printer, and then the mail carrier just picks it up. No trips to the post office required.
Oh, the mail carriers will pick it up. Oh, yeah, mail carriers. Stamps.com. I'm Ben Shapiro. I'm part of Stamps.com.
And then the mail carrier just takes it away.
Just takes it away like a stork takes away human babies or drops human babies. That's where babies come from, a stork. Plus postages. Let's go to stamps.com and say Ben Shapiro sent you.
Why go to the post office when you get all its great services directly from your desk? Stamps.com.
Right, directly from your desk.
The latest update on Paul Manafort.
Oh, Paul Manafort.
And there were a couple of pieces of news that seem to have pretty significant impact on the Mueller investigation. Piece of news number one came out earlier yesterday.
The fuck is going on?
Washington Post. Paul Manafort,
It's burly, man.
Campaign manager for President Trump for about 4 months in the middle of the campaign, like March to June. And now,
March to June.
Again, your mentioned with them several months ago in which he was supposedly
Oh, it's like going in and out. It's just burly.
The Mueller investigation in a variety of matters. Well, now the Mueller investigation seems to have a problem. Here is what the Washington Post reported. Prosecutors with Special Counsel Robert Mueller said Monday that Paul Manafort breached his plea agreement, accusing President Trump's former campaign chairman of lying repeatedly to them in their investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Manafort denied doing so intentionally, but both sides agreed in a court filing that the U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the district should set sentencing immediately. The apparent collapse of Manafort's cooperation agreement is the latest stunning turnaround in his case, exposing the longtime Republican...
Exposing what, himself?
After he pled guilty in December to charges of cheating the IRS, violating foreign lobbying laws, and attempting to obstruct justice, as well as wearing suits made out of, like, ostrich. That was, like, an actual thing.
Ostrich.
He was charged over that, but he was wearing a jacket made of ostrich, which, let's be frank, if you're going to be an international criminal and you don't have a suit made of ostrich, I don't know what you've been doing all your life. The filing also indicated that Mueller's team may have lost its potentially most valuable witness in Manafort, a top campaign official present at discussions at the heart of the special counsel's mission to determine if any Americans conspired with Russia's efforts to sway the U.S. election. So, this posed a serious problem for Robert.
It posed a serious problem, Ben. What's the problem?
And then you revoke his plea arrangement. Then that would seem to kind of crush your case. If this is the guy on whose credibility lies the entire Mueller investigation itself, and the key elements of the Mueller investigation, well, this is a pretty big problem for you. If you've been building a case...
It's a pretty big problem. How's it a big problem?
And it turns out that you're a key witness. You now have...
Does it move anything? Doesn't move anything. There's no big problem, Ben.
As it turns out,
The only problem I see, or actually I don't see, is your zipper zipped up in your pants?
So according to The Guardian, which has been the leak source for a lot of Mueller investigation-related stuff that is damaging to the Trump administration, here's what The Guardian reports. This is a bombshell. Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, held secret talks with
secret talks. Yeah, secret talks. Yeah, we got some secret talks going on, man. Ben Shapiro talking about some secret talks.
WikiLeaks is a Russian front group.
WikiLeaks is a Russian front group.
Email and hacking the DNC.
Hacking the DNC.
And dumping it to WikiLeaks, who was dumping it in public. And the accusation all along has been that the Trump campaign was coordinating in the release of the WikiLeaks emails.
The WikiLeaks.
So until now, there was no open collaboration or any collaboration of any sort, really, between the Trump campaign and WikiLeaks.
And WikiLeaks.
Roger Stone, who's under
Roger Stone.
and that is
Roger Stone.
bragging to various folks that he was talking with WikiLeaks. He maintains that WikiLeaks did not advance him any information.
And that's any information.
Reported about a year ago wrongly that Donald Trump Jr. had been coordinating with WikiLeaks. They had no evidence of that. Well, now, maybe
Well, now, Ben.
sources have said that Paul Manafort went to see Julian Assange in 2013, 2015, and in spring 2016, during the period when he was made a key figure in Trump's push for the White House. It is unclear why Manafort would have wanted to see Assange, and what was
Why you want to see Assange? Why you want to see Assange?
Special prosecutor who was investigating alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. A well-placed
Trump campaign in Russia. The Trump campaign in Russia.
went to see Assange around March 2016. We don't know who the well-placed source is. We don't know what that means.
We don't know what that means. We don't know what that means.
Mueller camp, we do not know. Months later, WikiLeaks released a stash of Democratic emails stolen by Russian intelligence officers.
By Russian intelligence officers.
The reason we don't know about the timing is because he didn't only see Assange once. Even according to these sources, Assange
Assange.
2013 when he was working with the government of Ukraine, which was then sort of
Ukraine insane in the membrane when you're working with Ukraine.
visited 3 times. 2 of those times he was not in the pay of the Trump campaign. So is it possible that he was still visiting with Assange about Russia-related stuff that was not campaign-related? That is possible as well. Manafort denies involvement in the hack. He says the claim is 100% false. His lawyers have declined to answer the Guardian's questions about the visit. In a series of tweets, WikiLeaks said Assange and Manafort had not met. Assange describes the story as a hoax. Well, just because Assange says something doesn't mean that it's an actual thing, right? It's not clear that Assange is a truth teller. In fact, it's pretty clear that he's not. Manafort was jailed this year and was thought to have become a star cooperator in the Mueller inquiry. On Monday, Mueller said Manafort had repeatedly lied to the FBI, despite agreeing to cooperate 2 months ago in a plea deal. According to a court document, Manafort had committed crimes and lies on a variety of subject matters. So, this was always the real question about story number 1 that we discussed earlier, Manafort lying to Mueller. Why would Mueller go out of his way to revoke a plea arrangement that cast his star witness in a credibility problem, that created a credibility problem for his star witness? Well, the answer could be that maybe the credibility problem for his star witness is actually not a problem for the Mueller investigation if it turns out that he's basically traded Manafort's credibility for evidence of Manafort actively colluding with the Russians. So he doesn't need Manafort anymore, is the idea. Now he no longer needs Manafort's testimony. Instead, he's got Assange. There's a rumor that has been going around, has been reported upon, that Assange is going to be indicted by the U.S. government on some matter. It's not clear what that matter is. He's not emerging from the Ecuadorian embassy anytime soon to tell us exactly. But all of this makes things a lot dicier for Team Trump than things were yesterday at this time. Now, does this mean that anything's going to materialize? No, we still have to connect all the dots. Let's say that Manafort met with Assange. So we have several parts. 1, did Manafort meet with Assange? Guardian says yes. We don't know. 2, what exactly did they meet about? Guardian suggests that it was about the campaign, but again, Manafort had met with Assange several times before, not clear that it was about the campaign. 3, did Trump know that his own guy was meeting with Assange? That is not clear either. 4, did Manafort actively collaborate with Assange in the release of the WikiLeaks emails, especially since most of the key WikiLeaks emails came out long after Manafort left the campaign? So there's still a bunch of questions here. The media are jumping to the conclusion that all the dots have now been connected, and therefore Trump is guilty of something. But Trump had to know stuff. People in his campaign had to know stuff in order for anything to be brought against Trump himself. Apparently, according to The Guardian, Manafort's 2016 visit to Assange lasted about 40 minutes. One source said, adding, the American was casually dressed when he exited the embassy wearing sandy-colored chinos, a cardigan, and a light-colored shirt, which is underdressed for Paul Manafort. Visitors normally register with embassy security guards and show their passports. Sources in Ecuador, however, say Manafort was not logged, which is really weird. Why exactly would Manafort not be logged by the Ecuadorian embassy? Embassy staff were aware only later of the potential significance of Manafort's visit and his political role with Trump. It is understood. So, again, we still have a lot of questions that have to be answered about all of this. According to sources, Manafort's acquaintance with Assange goes back at least 5 years to late 2012 or 2013, when the American was working in Ukraine and advising its Moscow-friendly President Viktor Yanukovych. Why Manafort might have sought out Assange in 2013 is unclear. So a lot of this is not clear at this point, but that's not going to stop people from immediately connecting all the dots. And we'll see how all of this plays out in real time. Meanwhile, the chaos on the border continues to bewilder folks on the left. And they are trying to now spin the story that President Trump is cruel and inhumane to the people on the border. This seems unlikely. And when I say unlikely, I mean it seems untrue. Because as it turns out, using tear gas against people who are attempting to break through the border has been an extraordinarily common occurrence. It happened during Obama's presidency many, many, many times. According to the Washington Times, the same tear gas agent the Trump administration is taking heat for deploying against a border mob this weekend is actually used fairly frequently, including more than once a month during the later years of President Barack Obama's administration, according to Homeland Security data. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has used 2-chlorobenzidylene melamine or CS, since 2010, and deployed it 26 times in fiscal year 2012 and 27 times in 2013. The use dropped after that, but was still deployed 3 times in 2016. Border authorities also use another agent, pepper spray, frequently, including a decade-high record of 151 times in 2013, also under President Obama. So as usual, when it comes to the unprecedented nature of President Trump's activity, there's precedent. As it turns out, the Obama administration did this kind of stuff all the time, but that didn't stop Democrats from claiming that Trump had done something wild, unprecedented here. Sheer panic about the border. Sheer panic. It's so funny. All the folks on the left who accuse Republicans of climate change denialism, which we'll get to in just a few minutes, all those folks are engaged in border denialism on a routine basis, and we're supposed to ignore it. We'll get to that in just one second, but first, let's talk about your opinion. So, we all know that you're going to plot sometime in the future. I'm not going to say that it's tomorrow, but God forbid, hopefully it'll be 120 years from now if you're born today. In Jewish law, you can only live 120 years. That's not Jewish law. The Jewish tradition is 120 years, you maxed out, your credit card's done, time's up. See you later, friends. But let's say you haven't reached 120 yet. But you got to prepare for that eventuality. This is why you need Policy Genius, because having life insurance is actually a really good feeling. You want to make sure that if you plot, your family is not left verklempt. You want to make sure that your family is aggrieved over your passing, sure, but not poor because they can't afford your fancy casket. It's nice to know that if anything were to happen to me, we wouldn't need a GoFundMe to stay afloat because I have life insurance. Well, if you're a responsible human, then you should be doing the same thing. Policy Genius is the easy way to get life insurance online. In just 2 minutes, you can compare quotes from the top insurers to find the best policy for you. When you compare quotes, you save money. It is indeed that simple. Competitive, capitalistic pricing. That's what Policy Genius is all about. They've helped over 4 million people shop for insurance. So, if you've been avoiding getting life insurance because it's difficult or confusing, give Policy Genius a try. Go to policygenius.com, get the quotes, apply in minutes. You can do the whole thing on your phone right now. Policy Genius. It's the easy way to compare and buy life insurance. Go check it out right now. So, Meanwhile, the Democrats continue to claim that President Trump's use of tear gas on the border, his administration's use of tear gas, is just the worst thing ever. And they're making up stories now. And they're trying to come up with a reason why it's just terrible what happened on the border. But the reason can't be people trying to storm the border and throw rocks at border agents. That can't be. It's not those people's fault. It's Trump's fault. Always remember, it is Trump's fault. Orange man bad, as they say on the interwebs. So, President Trump was asked about this, and in typical Trumpian fashion, he said the tear gas is extremely safe, and then he talked about a lighter version of tear gas that doesn't exist. So here is the President of the United States.
Well, the tear gas is a very minor form of the tear gas itself. It's very safe. The ones that were suffering to a certain extent were the people that were putting it out there, but it's very safe. But you really say, why is a parent running up into an area where they know the tear gas is forming and it's going to be formed, and they're running up with a child? And in some cases, they're not the parents. These are people, they call them grabbers. They grab a child because they think they're going to have a certain status by having a child. You have certain advantages in terms of our crazy laws that, frankly, Congress should be changing. If you change the laws, you wouldn't be having this problem. And I think the funding of the law right now is never looked better.
Okay, so I think a lot of what President Trump has to say here is gas. I've never heard of such a thing. And I don't know that they actually call people grabbers. I've never heard that one before either. Maybe I'm mistaken. Whenever President Trump talks about grabbing, I think it's something else. In any case, President Trump is not wrong on the policy merits here. When people throw rocks at you, then you are allowed to defend yourself. And you are defending yourself not by shooting people, not by even using rubber bullets, but instead by using tear gas. A Border Patrol chief was asked about all of this on CNN. This is Kevin McAleenan, who's the commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and Chris Cuomo, who's a black boy. And Chris Cuomo asked Kevin McAleenan about the use of tear gas, and Kevin McAleenan's like, dude, because people throw rocks at us, what do you want me?
Fortunately, the migrants pushed through them, overwhelmed them, went around them, and down through the Tijuana River Channel, and then tried to enter the U.S. unlawfully through the southbound lanes of the port of entry. We responded and prevented that access at the borderline. They then went back around San Ysidro and then started to look for a weak spot in the international border fence on the east side of San Ysidro. At several points, they tried to tear down parts of the wall and make a large group entry, and it was in those engagements where people started throwing rocks, assaulting our agents. We had 4 agents hit with rocks. Thankfully, they were wearing protective gear. We don't have any serious injuries, but they did have to respond to resolve those assaultive engagements as safely as possible with less lethal pepper ball spray as well as CS gas.
Okay, so yes, tear gas, Chris Cuomo. Yes, that's what tear gas is. Block of wood. So in any case, this obviously is not a misuse of resources. This obviously is what has to be done to quell the border situation. But this does not stop Democrats from issuing a bunch of idiotic statements about the situation in Florida. I mean, fully idiotic. Again, folks on the left want to talk about climate change denialism. We'll get to that issue because there's a climate report the left is going crazy over. But when we're talking about denialism on an issue, border denialism is a form of denialism. Denying that there's a problem when people rush the border, throw rocks at agents, and try to break through the southbound lanes at the port of entry. I don't understand why you would do that other than you have a political agenda. So here's what the Democrats had to say about this. Joaquin Castro, who's a representative in Texas, who for some odd reason thinks he should run for president, he told Chris Hayes, who is not in fact Rachel Maddow, on MSNBC, he told by the way, that's not a rip on what these people look like. It's just there's one pair of glasses at MSNBC. It's a black framed pair of glasses, like black rimmed glasses. And every single person puts them on and looks the same on MSNBC. It's the rule on MSNBC. You actually can't sit behind the anchor's desk unless you wear the same pair of glasses. In any case, Joaquin Castro is talking to Chris Hayes, and Joaquin Castro says, all this stuff that's happening in Florida, it's Trump's fault. Why? Well, explain it, Joaquin.
Well, like a lot of Americans, I was horrified to see women and children, these are babies in diapers, barefoot, being gassed. And I think Americans were horrified at the idea agents of the United States government making a decision to use tear gas on kids that are 2 or 3 years old. And as you mentioned, this was a self-created, chaotic situation by the president. He has used
no.
even before he became president, during the campaign, as the #1 political boogeyman for him. He has weaponized resentment and fear of migrants, basically to his political benefit. And that's why you see him do a lot of things that he does with respect to migration and immigration.
Okay, I love this on MSNBC. The Chiron says a spectacle of cruelty, a spectacle of cruelty. And then Joaquin Castro saying, they're firing tear gas at babies. Well, no. They're firing tear gas at people who are throwing rocks at them and trying to cross the border illegally. And if those people are carrying babies, that seems to me the fault of the people who carry babies into what seems to be a quasi-war zone, right? I mean, I have a 2.5-year-old child. I would not bring my 2.5-year-old child to a border and try and break through illegally, knowing that people on the other side were going to fire tear gas, which has, again, happened dozens and dozens and dozens of times per year, including under President Obama. So this is idiocy. My favorite idiotic comment of the day on the border situation came courtesy of Andrea Mitchell, again of MSNBC. This is pretty spectacular stuff.
Say nothing of the demonizing of
MSLSD.
by calling them a caravan and describing them based on no typical facts. It's
unknown Middle Easterners without any evidence of that.
500 murderers in the midst, etc.
It is so unbelievably stupid. So here is why this is so. People don't know how to use Google. I'm serious. People on the left, I don't know, the media, like Google, in the words of our friend, Cenk Uygur, Google it. It's really not difficult to actually Google things. Okay, so for example, watch as I Google this. My fingers here. My fingers are currently typing migrant caravan. Okay, migrant caravan. And now I'm going to use the tools here on Google, and I'm going to change the date range to 1/1/2014. And let's see if before that anyone had ever used the language of a migrant caravan. Why look, the first result from the Daily Beast. The Department of Homeland Security is reportedly tracking a new migrant caravan that is set to leave El Salvador next week, 2011. How about this one from June 13, 2013, from 850 WFTL? The migrant caravan reformed after Mexican authorities denied entry to large groups on this bridge at the border. How about this one from NBC Philadelphia? February 1st, 2001. Large crowds on both sides of the border near San Isidro and Tijuana marched in support of the caravan. Why, it seems that the language of migrant... This one's from the New York Times, 2006. New migrant caravans trek north. Wow. It's almost as though President Trump did not actually come up with the term migrant caravan, and you're stupid if you think he did. Almost as though that is the case, and that you should have used your Google skills, if you haven't. Okay, I have to admit, that one is pretty bad. Wait until you hear Bernie Sanders and Maxine Waters' take on this thing. You want to know why people are alienated by the left when it comes to national security? This would be the reason why people are alienated by the left when it comes to national security. Now, speaking of national security and personal security, when the founders crafted the Constitution, the first thing they did was to make sacred the rights of the individual to share your ideas. And then the second thing that they did was make sure you could protect those rights with a firearm, which is why Bravo Company Manufacturing exists. It was started in a garage by a Marine vet more than 2 decades ago to build a professional-grade product that meets combat standards. BCM believes the same level of protection should be provided to every American, regardless of whether they are a private citizen or a professional. BCM is not a sporting arms company. They design, engineer, manufacture life-saving equipment. They assume that every rifle leaving their shop will be used in a life-or-death situation by a responsible citizen, law enforcement officer, or a soldier overseas. Each component of a BCM rifle is hand-assembled and tested by Americans to a life-saving standard. To learn more about Bravo Company Manufacturing, all you have to do is head on over to BravoCompanyMFG.com, where you can discover more about their products, special offers, upcoming news. They feel a moral responsibility as Americans to provide tools that are going to work for you and will not fail in the case of an emergency situation. And they work with leading instructors in marksmanship from the top levels of America's special ops who can teach the skills necessary to defend yourself, your family, or others. It's BravoCompanyMFG.com. Again, go check them out at youtube.com/BravoCompanyUSA to see the people behind the company and to see all the products they make. Really cool stuff. BravoCompanyMFG.com. We could not be prouder to partner with BravoCompanyMFG.com. All right, so the dumbest statements of the day with regard to the border caravans were reserved for Bernie Sanders and Maxine Waters. Yes, even stupider than Andrea Mitchell saying that President Trump using the word caravan is demonizing immigrants. Well, I don't know. Now it's a running through a gun battle on the dumbest comment. Allison Camerata had one on CNN. Bernie Sanders had one, and Maxine Waters had one. So let's spin the wheel of dumb. Here we go. Okay, now, let's start with Allison.
Isn't there one for Ben Shapiro? Ben Shapiro is dumb too. Come on, Ben, quit being so dumb.
See if you can follow that logic. Okay, that makes sense. Because someone broke into your house, you don't need a front door, obviously. They would have broken in if you didn't have a front door. So why you have a front? What's the point of the front door, you idiot? Why are you doing that? You're the kind of person where somebody broke in your house and you got 4 more locks on your door. Well, didn't you have a lock on your door in the first place? Or 4 more locks going to do? If this does not seem to follow, that's because it's dumb. So here's Allison Camerata.
It's dumb, Ben Shapiro.
Unfortunate as this incident is, I'm not sure that it proves that we need a border wall. In fact, it's not that the border worked. Border security here worked. So however many people rushed the border, 39 were arrested. They are going to be deported. No one breached the border. So
Nobody breached the border.
We don't need a border wall because the migrants went out of their way to go to the Tijuana entrance because the rest of the border was considered too hazardous, too dangerous to cross. So they went an extra hundreds of miles to the port of entry.
Oh, I'm stupid on CNN. I'm stupid, bitch.
Actually working.
Interesting take. Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they went to Tijuana because they wanted the publicity. And a huge number of people do cross the unguarded portions of the U.S.-Mexico border. And as you may have noticed, scaling the wall was significantly less successful than trying to actually break through just the southern lanes of traffic. So walls tend to make people go around the walls. That's why they're there. Okay, so that was dumb take number 1.
Dumb take number 2.
A very interesting take. And the take is that President Trump only wants to enforce the border because of fascism. Yeah, it's okay.
It's fascism, Ben, not fashion.
People like Mr.
Prince of Saudi Arabia and the leader of North Korea. I worry very much about, for the first time, using the military in that way in this country. So I think that is a very legitimate concern.
Yeah, annoying as fuck. Dude, you're annoying as fuck.
Because it's a crackdown on people who are not citizens trying to get into the country, as opposed to countries that Bernie Sanders has been fond of in the past, like Venezuela and Cuba and the USSR. Those were not fascist, because there they had walls to keep people in. But that wasn't fascist. Bernie Sanders, who wouldn't best say a dumb thing. Also, Maxine Waters, who is going to be the head of the House Financial Services Committee, which is just horrifying in every way. Last time she was deeply involved in the House Financial Services Committee, she proceeded to attempt to drive cash to her husband's bank. Here is Maxine Waters, a woman who knows a lot about failure to
Maxine.
the LA riots, which she called an LA uprising, explaining that the border chaos is a political ploy by Trump. Somehow, Trump. This is what he does. Trump's a magical man.
Trump's a magical man.
He's very stealthy. This is one thing we know about President Trump. Dude doesn't draw any attention. He's a master of disguise. President Trump took off his hair, he put on a beard, and Groucho Marx glasses. And then he strode into the middle of the migrant caravan and said, guys, please, take the That's exactly how it went. Here's Maxine Waters explaining how that went.
Very saddened to see this situation with desperate people and all of this being a political ploy of the President of the United States of America. He made this the central part of his platform, that he was going to do something about these migrants who are coming here. He called them killers and rapists, and he certainly did stoke a lot of fear about these migrants who are trying to get in. And so he promised the American people that he was going to make Mexico pay for it all, that we would not have to pay a dime for it. And now we have this chaos. That's what he wants.
Oh, as opposed to when there was chaos on the border when Obama was president, which I recall and you recall and everybody recalls. So, I'm in gun battle for dumbest thing to about the border situation. One of my favorite part of this is that awkward time in MSNBC the border actually the caravan was not for suffering women and children. That it was a bunch of young men who were looking for economic opportunity. That's when all this got real awkward. You had MSNBC and CNN filled to the brim. Commentators and Congress people saying this is all Trump's fault. And then, awkward, because a reporter at MSNBC down there was like, guys, Trump's actually not wrong about all this stuff.
The truth is, the majority of the people that are part of this caravan, especially outside, if we can make our way all the way over there, we'll show you the majority of them are men. So when this becomes a polarized political issue in the United States, you have people on one side that point and say there are women and children here, and that is true. And then there are others who point and say these are men that are trying to cross the border, and that's true too.
That's true too.
The majority are actually men.
Okay, oops, whoopsie-doo. Yeah, he said the unsayable, but...
Whoopsie-doo.
Everybody on the right. The idea is that you're a climate denier if you disagree with their prospective solutions.
Got no brain.
Massive damage to the world economy, and particularly the United States economy, in service to something. Right? It is not clear by any stretch of the imagination, even from the proponents of the measures that are now being promoted by a lot of these folks, that these measures will actually succeed in curbing global warming in any serious way. We're going to talk about the new study that's released by the federal government and that Trump has downplayed and that the media are playing up in just 1 second plus. I need to talk to you about a new poll of Western Europeans about anti-Semitism, because while we in the West fulminate over racism, while we fulminate over white supremacism, while we fulminate over all the terrible things in the United States, we sort of tend to ignore the much broader topics of bigotry, so long as they don't fit the interests of the people. We'll get to that in just 1 second. First, I got to talk to you about this fantastic new podcast. It is just great. I love history. It's a brand new podcast.
I love history.
Find little known facts about assassins and the effect he's had on history. I have a little bit of an obsession about reading about these sorts of things. I'm very into the topic of who the assassins were, how this affected future history. I've heard a bunch of counter narratives and counter histories. What would have happened if JFK weren't assassinated? For example, what would have happened if Lincoln hadn't been assassinated? Well, the new podcast, Assassination.
And what would have happened if JFK was assassinated?
To discover what motivated them to take such drastic measures. The host examined the assassination, the target, and the assassin, asking, did the assassin ultimately achieve his underlying objective? And if so, how exactly did that change the world? Look for upcoming episodes on Abraham Lincoln and Grizzly Rasputin, who you'll recall was the supposed whisperer to the Russian royal family just before the Russian Revolution. Check out the 3-part episode on John F. Kennedy right now. New episodes come every Monday. Search and subscribe to Assassinations wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, that's ASSASSIN. Start listening now. That's Parcast, PARCAST.com. Assassinations to listen right now. Go check it out. It is really a great listen. Okay, well, I have a lot to get to. I want to talk to you about this climate change report that people are going crazy over in just 1 second. But you're going to have to go over to dailywire.com and subscribe. For $9.99 a month, you subscribe to Daily Wire. Yes, I mean you. You are capable of doing this thing. And when you do, you get the rest of my live, you get the rest of Clavin's show live, you get the rest of Knowles' show live. You get early episodes of Another Kingdom. Clavin's great book read by the mediocre Michael Knoll. With art by our fantastic art team. There's only one element I think is a little bit short in that particular map. But you can check it all out and make your early judgment when you get the normal subscription or get the annual, which is even better. Why is it better? You ask, well, number one, it's cheaper. It's $99 a year, not $9.99 a second. You get that. Very great in beverage restaurant. Now, I'm not going to say that the leftist here, hot or cold tumbler, will cure all your ills. I'm not going to pretend that this thing can protect you from all illness. All I will tell you is that some plague has hit my entire family. It hit 2 of my sisters. It hit my niece, 2 of my sisters. It hit my wife.
It's an assaulter, man. Once you put assault charges on the tumbler, the tumbler needs a little assault charges. It's been assaulting people. But this tumbler is not assaulting people now. It's an actual assaulter now.
Okay, go check it out right now. Also, subscribe over at iTunes or YouTube when you do. Make sure you leave us a review at iTunes. It helps with the ranking. And you get access to our Sunday specials. We have a bunch of awesome pre-Christmas Sunday specials that are coming out in which a bunch of people are going to try and convert me. It's going to be really fantastic. But really, there's all sorts of really good stuff. So go check it out right now.
They convert you. You need to be converted to a Christian, Ben. Because Christianity is exactly what you should be, man. You should be a Christian, Ben. You need to be saved so you don't go to hell, Ben. That's right, hell, Ben Shapiro. Go be a Christian, Ben. And he's up on Trump. You're a little more negative than you should be. I'm not saying Trump does everything right, but he's more good than what you give him credit for. You're a little more negative than positive.